So forgive me, the video is a little bit messy, or the wiring's a little bit messy, hard to see things, but what we're going to look at here is basically an analog control of that angle of rotation for the motor, okay? And what I mean by that is, previously we looked at having a set value to turn the motor, and we push a button, say, and it will turn 10 degrees, or we push the button and we set our code that it will turn 30 degrees or 40 degrees. And we had to keep changing that within the code each time. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use a potentiometer here that will control the amount of rotation that we're going to give the motor, whether it's going to be half a full turn, or full rotation, or a quarter, or whatever it is. So the wiring's all the same. I've got my driver board here for the stepper motor wired up with the 4 input pins going into 4 output pins of the embed, and then I've just got a potentiometer wired into my analog input, same way we would have done previously in other videos, and I've just got a digital inputs switch. So what I want to do is, as I turn basically the potentiometer, it's going to give me a different rotation for the stepper motor, okay? So if I push the button now, it's the whole way around, okay? So it's at kind of 0%, so it's not going to give me any rotation. So if I turn it a little bit and push the motor, you'll see it'll turn a little bit. So now if I increase it a bit more, you'll see it'll turn that bit more. And if I get it nearly round to the full sort of rotation of the potentiometer, it nearly gives me a full rotation, or a full kind of circle around. So now if I press it, got caught there a wee bit, we should see it give me a full rotation around. So we basically have an analog user interface that we could set how much rotation we want to give the stepper motor. Okay, so we've got an analog input that's controlling analog input user interface that's controlling how much rotation we want to give to the stepper motor. And we could kind of beef this up a wee bit by adding in the LCD maybe to the side of it that's going to display how much rotation it's going to give each time. So we'll have a look at that now. So again, a little bit hard to get all this in the video, but what I've done is I've added in an LCD display which will tell me basically how much rotation we're expecting to get on the stepper motor once we push the button from the analog input of the potentiometer. Okay, so if I just reset the microcontroller, I've just got a wee welcome message that comes up, and then basically it says the angle to turn is going to be roughly 20 degrees. Okay, and that's based on this potentiometer. So you'll see as I change the potentiometer, the angle that it's going to turn is going to get bigger. Okay, so I'll try and set that to just close to 90 degrees. So it's in, it's going to turn 90 degrees. So now once I push the push button, we get roughly 90 degrees of turn. So again, push the push button, and that's roughly 90 degrees. So you'll see now if I again turn the potentiometer, we'll go a good bit around. So 200, so nearly 360 degrees. If I push the push button now, we should get nearly a full turn on the motor. And then if I swing it all the way down, something small, okay, maybe not, well, if we leave it at no degrees, push it, nothing's happening, and just give it, okay, it should turn roughly 20 degrees. There's my 20 degrees. So we get a nice user interface that's reading just basically the potentiometer and telling us how much we're going to turn each time we push the push button. So there we're basically allowing a user interface that the amount of rotation, how much the motor is going to turn, is based on this potentiometer.